Thank you for your patience. Apologies for that interruption. Dr. Ngoladi is still with us. Dr. Ngoladi, good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure to have you on. So we saw the strongly worded statements that FOSAD circulated following the glitches that were recorded in the WASC results. Could you bring us up to speed with the take of the organization on the outcome of this in view of the similar glitches recorded in JAMB and the UTME, now WASC, and maybe even a step ahead to issues with INEC?
Oh, thank you very much. You know, this issue of technical glitches, like they call it, it has become a global embarrassment to Nigeria and to all of us of education. So at FOSAD, we had to put out a press statement condemning this, the WAEC, you know, the recent release of WAEC results, whereby a lot of people, a lot of candidates scored about 754 candidates, you know, only passed English. And then when social media was agog with the results, they went back again to review the results, and about 1.2 million again, you know, passed, including English and Maths. So it was it's very disheartening, and it's such a shame that exam bodies these days are always giving excuses about reasons why they cannot release results that are accurate. They lack accuracy. And so the Forum of Southeast Academic Doctors frowned at this conduct of examination by WAEC. And we are surprised that up till now, the authorities in charge, the man in charge of that of the release of the results, you know, who came out again and started apologizing to candidates about their mistake. And, you know, their normal excuse is technical glitches. The man is still in office. He's yet to resign. He has not been fired. And we are not happy about that. We believe that anybody that does not deliver in his work, the person should leave the office. He should be sacked, you know, to serve as a punitive measure, you know, and also serve as a deterrent to other people who may want to, you know, expose their incompetence and ineptitude in handling scores for examination bodies. You remember the same thing happened with JAMB, and everybody was very angry. You don't know if your child failed the exam, you are not even sure. If your child passed the exam, you are not sure that what the child gets is the scores. And because of this, these examination bodies have they have lost integrity. You know, we have there's a kind of vote of no confidence in them. We don't think these people should, these exam bodies should be conducting such high examinations. We are also, it's very disheartening that the registrar of JAMB, you know, after he came out, took responsibility, you know, shed a few crocodile tears here and there. He's still on that seat, you know, and that's the responsibility of the federal government. The first thing was also to sack him. He should have been sacked. If he was sacked, I believe that's what happened with WAEC will not happen. Maybe the federal government is not in charge of WAEC, but the federal government can also, you know, go to the West African body and demand that this man be removed. And let's have, you know, accuracy, you know, in the examinations.
All right. Now, let me come in now. One would say, okay, what if the margin of error came into play? Because WAEC did come out and say that they had gone through the results and they decided to recall it. This was quite different from the case with JAMB. But one thing they had in common was the fact that they both stood tall and said that their anti-malpractice measures were working, lambasting the students, saying that they were doing well. There are their own measures were doing well.
CBT is working.
CBT is working,
Yeah.
notwithstanding the fact that they were eventually the ones to be held responsible. So what would you say are the similarities and the peculiarities between the two examination bodies? Or would you lump them in the same category, Dr. Ngoladi?
Yes, I've already done that. Both of them are in the same category of incompetence and ineptitude. And this situation where people are messing up our system and they are still allowed to remain on their seats, it will not do us any good. Our educational systems needs to be revamped. We need to bring in fresh, breathe fresh air into it by removing all these people who are no longer interested in doing it right. The country is already burdened with a lot of incompetent leaders at the political level or at the ministerial level and all whatnot. Why should we accept another set of people who are not ready to work? There should be no excuse. If you cannot do the work, you honorably resign.
What are the implications of the incidents recorded in recent times, Dr. Ngoladi? What would you foresee as the implications of all of these
Hello, can you hear
glitches?
me?
Yes, go ahead. We're talking about the implications. What do you foresee would be the implications of the glitches being recorded in these examination bodies?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go
yes,
ahead.
quite clear. The implications, your take on the implications of these glitches.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Dr. Ngoladi, can you hear us clearly?
Yes, I can hear you now, but I didn't get your last question.
Yes. What would be the implications to both the students, the academia, and even the bodies themselves of these glitches recorded in recent times? How would it impact the system?
Well, let me start with the candidates, the students who just graduated from post-primary education, that is secondary school. A lot of them have been, they are disillusioned. There's a lot of mentally and psychologically, they are really damaged because they cannot get their results at one sitting. The results have to be reviewed. It's still the same thing they did with JAM, the same thing they did with WAEC. So I wonder how these children will be feeling. You remember during the issue of JAM, they say one candidate committed suicide. I don't know how true that is. This time around, a lot of candidates they do not believe in the exams, in the examination body again. So that's the implication on the students, the candidates who are supposed to use this their results to gain admission into tertiary institutions. So the examination body has failed that integrity test. And again, another implication is that it goes to show that our educational system is a lot of rocks in our educational system. People are no longer there to serve, to become efficient administrators. It's all about making money. And this cuts across the entire levels of education in the country, especially if we bring it down to the southeast. I'll give you an example that is also happening at the level of common entrance in Imo State. Do you know that up to this moment, the 2024-2025 academic session has ended, but the children who are in primary 6 are yet to sit for their common entrance in Imo State. You can't believe that. The same thing happened last year. Some of them, I don't know how they got admission into secondary school. They had to come back from their secondary school to come and take their common entrance and first school living certificate examination. It's very appalling that we have this kind of people. And the Commissioner of Education in Imo State is not living up to expectation of his office. He's even a professor. But at the end of the day, the education system in Imo State is having a whole lot of issue right now. You can imagine he also kind of gave an order that primary schools that are located within gated estates should be shut down, without recourse to all the stakeholders. The private school proprietors in the state are having a lot of issue with them. He also ordered that children should not be taught again with a foreign curriculum. So these are all the issues that we're having. And the State Primary Education Board is also having issues with this same Commissioner, Professor Ikegwoha. They said that he's always collecting money, cash, from candidates, before they could be cleared to take exam. So these are the issues we are facing. It cuts across all levels now. Our education system is in shambles, and at FOSAD, we have our members, in almost all the tertiary institutions in Nigeria and even in the diaspora. So we get first-hand information about what is happening, especially in the South and in other schools within Nigeria. The common entrance now has become a very big issue. So tell me, conducting a common entrance examination and first school living certificate examination for these our children, is it rocket science that they cannot conduct it, and the children finish their primary six classes and graduate, and they don't have any certificate to show for it? So it's the same thing. We have competent administrators everywhere. We don't know why the conducting examinations now has been highly politicized and monetized. But at the end of the day, people cannot get their accurate results. They show you one, they give you one score, and at the same time they will turn around to review your scores and give you another score. Do they realize the extent of damage they are doing on the mental and
Dr. Ngoladi,
mental and psychological of our children?
Yeah.
So they have even brought it down to the level of common entrance. That's what I'm trying to point out.
Yes.
So I don't know. Can I go ahead?
Okay. Let me just ask you this question, right? It was JAMB the other time. Now it's WAEC. Is this exposing the rots in the digital infrastructure when it comes to these examination bodies? Is this exposing the rots in their digital infrastructure? And also, is apology enough? Because if you talk about the repercussions of the mental repercussions, the country's imagery, right? Is apology enough? What are the rightful consequences FOSAD is meant to be pushing at this point in time to these individuals who are actually the ones heading some of these departments, or holistically, the whole department, the educational department? What could be the consequences to be meted on these people, to avoid this to happen again?
When the JAMB brouhaha happened, we called for the resignation of the registrar. That is one. We also called for the scrapping of JAMB because it has outlived its usefulness. And the JAMB registrar was appointed by the president. So we expect that he would have been sacked by now. Not only him, every other person that is involved in that shenanigan, should have been fired by now. We are also recommending the same thing for WAEC. There should be consequences for maladministration. There should be investigation. They should all leave their seats. They should be fired. And there should be a thorough investigation to forestall such occurrence in the future. Because we should not be toying with the academic future of the citizens of Nigeria. I give you an instance. In China had to overhaul its educational system and also dedicate 4% of its GDP to education. That is why we have a significant success and significant improvements in their educational system. So they took it very serious. Again, they took their technology very serious. But in Nigeria here, they will just outsource the IT to any company, and most of those companies may just be registered by members of staff or the authorities. There's no kind of a due process.
That's right. So what do you think then, Dr. Ngoladi, is the way forward? I mean, this has happened, the results have been re-uploaded, candidates have been asked to go and recheck their results. We saw the improvement with regards to what they released before. We saw a significant improvement in the pass rates for the WASC. So what would be the way forward to avert similar, as you described, national embarrassments?
First of all, we recommend that everybody involved in this release of results that are inaccurate should be fired. They should be sacked. Then the hiring authority, be it the president or people who hire heads of parastatals, should be very careful. Hiring appointments should pass through due process. Only the best of the best should be appointed to head our examination bodies. Only the best should be appointed to head our institutions, academic institutions, be it at a primary school level, secondary school level, or at university level. I was coming to the university level. You can see that the hiring of vice chancellors in the universities now, the appointment, has become a kind of shenanigan. It has been monetized and politicized. Any thug can now be appointed as a vice chancellor. You look at what happened at the Odumegwu Ojukwu University in Anambra State, where they followed due process, and at the end of the day, 5 candidates emerged. The first 3 was submitted to the visitor of the university, which is the governor of Anambra State. But at the end of the day, what happened? All the lecturers, the staff, and students of the school, they were shocked that somebody who came 5th, the 5th position, was appointed as vice chancellor. Meanwhile, the school has a lot of rots in their system. We see a situation whereby professional courses has now been monetized. Somebody can score 300 in JAMB and not get admission into medicine or pharmacy or law or medical laboratory. And somebody who just got 200, because the person can provide 2 million naira, is offered admission. And we have people making payments into accounts that are not bank accounts that is not approved by the school. There's always a dedicated account where people can just pay in money and they are given admission. So such things should not happen. Let people who are hiring these heads of institutions, we have to be very careful. We have to follow the due process.
It's great that you mentioned, Dr. Ngoladi, it's great that you mentioned higher institutions, because we're seeing news this morning that the federal government has placed a ban on the establishment of new federal and private universities for the next 7 years. What's the reaction of FOSAD to this move?
Well, for FOSAD, we think it's a good one. We can't be having universities scattered all over, federal tertiary institutions, all over the place, and they are not well equipped. There's no human capital development per se. The infrastructure is not good enough. They just still on this appointments, human resources, it's not valid, it's not well tackled. So I think we should put a stop to establishing more federal institutions. Let's concentrate on the ones we have. Okay, look at what happened in Abanikoko University, Federal University of recent. The appointment of VC, the first VC, the pioneer VC, was fraught with a lot of irregularities. There are a lot of insinuations, in several places, allegations that the person who was just appointed is not even qualified because she is not a professor. Her professorship was fraught with a lot of irregularities. Nobody can say when she was promoted to leader, from promotion to leader to the full rank of a professor. While she was still at Abanikoko, when Abanikoko was a college of education and Imo State University, now promoted her to the level of associate professor and the level of a professor. These are all the issues we are facing. So we cannot be facing that and you're establishing more universities. We also thank God that the issue of UNIZIK, Nnamdi University, has finally been resolved. But we saw the shenanigans there. The man who was appointed as professor does not have he's not a professor. We don't know how he got his professorship.
All right. I mean, those are allegations, Dr. Ngoladi, that we cannot confirm on this program, but you've really set up a great lead that we can investigate. So what would be your final remarks as we wrap up this segment? What would be your final call to action?
Our call to action from FOSAD is that only competent individuals should be appointed to these sensitive positions. Let there be due process. Screen the candidates. It's not about politics anymore. We can't be playing politics with the academic future of our citizens, especially in the southeast. Only competent candidates. A lot of people today are parading themselves as professors, and they are not professors. We have been investigating this. A lot of them, can you imagine a professor who doesn't have any work to show? You go online, you don't see any paper that has been delivered. So where are the books they have authored? Where are the papers they have delivered or they have written? You can't see them see their works in any learned journal. So we are pleading with the government, both at state and federal level. Before you make appointments, scrutinize the qualifications and profile of such individuals, because everything starts and ends with leadership. If we have leaders who are just interested in they want to make money, they are there for self-aggrandizement and amassing wealth. Now, education is not something that you politicize. It's not a business. It's not trading. It's not buying and selling. It's about administration. It's about serving the public. And you don't joke with the future of candidates. So our call to action is that it must start from leadership. Let us sack people who have proved to be charlatans, who cannot manage their offices system. And let's have people who are competent. I believe that we still have people who are competent both in the southeast and in Nigeria as a whole, and let them take over these institutions.
All right, quite clear. Thank you so much.
The system will come back to its glory.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Uzor Ngoladi, for your remarks on the program today, for your takes, of course, shared with us. Thank you once again. Do have a lovely day ahead as we hope for more promising days ahead in the nation's education future. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me.
Right.
I appreciate it.
The morning show returns with so much more in just seconds. Stay tuned.